Friends of Islam, this time the Islamic faith is back before you to share Islamic information. I hope it inspires your activities today. And don't forget to click the subscribe button and activate the bell button notifications so you don't miss the latest news from the Islamic Faith channel. Europe, a continent known for centuries as the center of civilization and Christianity. Church spires tower, bells ring every morning. It seems as if the old faith still reigns supreme. But who would have thought that beneath all this, another voice is beginning to be heard? The call to prayer, Adhan, on busy European streets amidst the hustle and bustle of modernity presents a scene once thought impossible. Men and women with European faces step into mosques and with trembling voices recite the Shahada, declaration of faith. Why is it that in this land known for its secularism, more and more people are discovering Islam? What is really happening in Europe? And this is a phenomenon that is shaking the old civilization. A new wave born from hearts thirsting for truth. Islam is now growing in the heart of Europe. Dear friends of the Islamic faith, blessed by Allah, in this video we will explore a major phenomenon. How is the light of Islam now beginning to shine on the European continent? A phenomenon full of surprises, full of inspiration, and certainly full of wisdom that we can learn from. So don't miss a single second of this story. Watch until the end because every part holds valuable lessons. And don't forget to help spread kindness by sharing this video with your family, friends, and anyone you love. May this story touch more hearts and inspire more souls to discover the light of Islam. Europe is known as an ancient continent with a long history, from Greek philosophers and the Roman Empire to the Renaissance. Europe is the center of world science and civilization. Church towers tower over every city, symbolizing a legacy of faith rooted for centuries. But behind this glory, modern Europe hides a different face. Rates of depression and loneliness are on the rise. Many feel isolated amidst the crowds, trapped in the hustle and bustle of the modern world without direction, a silent spiritual crisis. Yet in these grand offices, millions of people work nonstop. Yet when they return home, their hearts remain empty. The phenomenon of lonely death, a death in loneliness, is not only occurring in Asia, but is now haunting Europe as well. They thirst not for money or technology, but for the true meaning of life. And amidst this increasingly disturbing inner crisis, a light is beginning to emerge. A light that comes from a direction they never expected. Islam is slowly knocking on the door of Europe's hearts. The Islamic legacy in Europe began more than 1,000 years ago when Muslim armies crossed the Strait of Gibraltar. In the 8th century, a new civilization was born in Andalusia, a land we now know as Spain. Andalusia became the center of Islamic glory in Europe. Cordoba, Granada, and Seville transformed into cities of science, art, and civilization. Meanwhile, other parts of Europe remained mired in medieval darkness. From Andalusia, Islamic knowledge flowed throughout Europe. Mathematics, medicine, philosophy, and astronomy all flourished under the light of Islam, ultimately inspiring the Renaissance. But history also records that this glory did not last forever. The fall of Andalusia marked the beginning of a long period of trials for Islam in Europe. However, its legacy remains, laying the foundation for the wave of Islam that is now resurgent on this continent. After World War II, Europe was devastated. Factories needed workers, cities needed new energy. Thus, a large wave of Muslim immigrants arrived from Turkey to Germany, from Morocco to France, from Pakistan to England. They came for work, but unwittingly they brought with them the light of Islam. In major European cities, they built communities, small halal restaurants, real-life shops, and simple prayer rooms. These were the seeds of the modern European Muslim community. However, their journey was not easy. Discrimination, stereotypes, and economic hardship were part of daily life. But their faith kept them going. And from this first generation emerged a second generation of more confident European Muslims. From here, Islam began to grow in a new form. No longer just a religion of immigrants, but slowly becoming part of modern European identity. The phenomenon of converts to Islam in Europe is increasingly evident. Not only immigrants or descendants of Muslims, but also local Europeans, professors, artists, and even ordinary workers. One by one, they are discovering the light of Islam. They come from various backgrounds, but their hearts converge in a single point of seeking truth. For some, the turning point is simple. Some simply read a single verse and their hearts tremble. Others simply hear the call to prayer and their tears flow endlessly. And when they finally recite the Shahada, the atmosphere changes to emotion. Their voices tremble, their tears flow, and their hearts feel as if they have been reborn. The phenomenon of converts to Islam in Europe is not just a number. It is a story of souls, the soul that finds God. After a long period of feeling lost, it was from these small stories that a great wave of Islam emerged that is now unstoppable in Europe. From small prayer rooms and basements to now standing majestically in the heart of cities, mosques have become symbols of Islam's growth in Europe. In recent decades, the number of mosques in Islamic centers has increased rapidly, spreading across almost all major European countries. Mosques are not just places of prayer, they are community centers, places of learning, spaces for study, and even centers of dawah, Islamic outreach, for converts. This is where the younger generation of European Muslims grow, learn, and discover their identity. During Ramadan, mosques transform into second homes. Breaking the fast together, performing Taraweeh prayers, and sermons become moments that unite people of different nations and languages under one faith. Today, mosques in Europe stand not just as buildings, but as spiritual beacons, carrying the light of Islam amidst Western civilization. With each call to prayer, adhan, reverberates new hope for the future of Muslims in Europe. Ramadan in Europe brings a distinct atmosphere. Although Muslims are a minority there, every evening before sunset, small mosques are filled with hopeful footsteps. They arrive with tired faces, but hearts filled with a longing for togetherness. When the call to prayer sounds, all differences vanish. They sit together to break their fast with dates and water, then share traditional foods from various nations. The warm atmosphere breaks down cultural barriers. At night, the mosques transform into a sea of prayer. Row after row, neatly arranged, from children to the elderly, all stand together in Taraweeh prayers. It's at this moment that Islam unites hearts without national boundaries. Ramadan in Europe is more than just an act of worship. It serves as a bridge, uniting newcomers and locals, opening doors to curious non-Muslims, and presenting a peaceful face of Islam. From this togetherness, new hope for the future of Islam in Europe is born. However, the growth of Islam in Europe is not without its challenges. In many countries, Muslims face suspicion, stereotypes, and even discriminatory policies. Islam is still often perceived as foreign, as if it doesn't fit into European culture. Muslim women, especially those who wear the hijab, are often the target of discrimination, from the classroom to the workplace. They must fight harder for equal rights. Secular politics in some European countries are becoming increasingly oppressive. The hijab ban in schools, restrictions on the call to prayer, and the difficulty of building mosques pose real challenges for the Muslim community. Yet despite all these challenges, Muslims in Europe have not given up. With patience and gentle preaching, they continue to show the peaceful face of Islam. It is precisely from this pressure that the Muslim identity in Europe is growing stronger. From the younger generation, a new face of Islam in Europe has emerged. They were born and raised in modern cities, fluent in the local language, but proud of their Muslim identity. With renewed enthusiasm, they confidently bring Islam to the public sphere. Social media has become their new weapon of preaching. Through short videos, podcasts, and creative content, the message of Islam is spread to a surprising number of people in a fresh, accessible, and touching way. In schools and universities, they act as bridges for dialogue, holding seminars, interfaith discussions, and even humanitarian social actions. This young generation of Muslims is slowly changing the face of Islam in the eyes of European society. With the enthusiasm of this young generation, Islam in Europe is finding a new direction. They are the peaceful, creative, and hopeful face of Islam. It is from their hands that the future of Islam in Europe is being built. Amidst differences and challenges, there is room for continued development. In many European cities, Muslim and non-Muslim leaders sit together, opening the door to conversations about faith, humanity, and a shared future. This dialogue doesn't stop at the academic realm. It extends to the streets, schools, and communities. From cultural festivals and art exhibitions to iftars attended by non-Muslims, all of this serves as a bridge of tolerance. Tolerance in Europe is more than just empty talk. Many churches open their doors to Muslim activities, and mosques invite non-Muslim neighbors to come and experience Islam up close. From this dialogue and tolerance, Europeans are beginning to view Islam in a new light, not as a threat, but as part of a shared civilization. And from these simple conversations, hope for a more peaceful future is born. Today, the number of Muslims in Europe continues to grow. Demographic projections indicate that in the coming decades, Islam will become one of the largest religions on the continent. A reality once considered impossible is now slowly becoming a reality. Younger generations of Muslims are at the forefront of change. They not only uphold their faith, but also add new color to Europe through education, art, politics, and creative dawah. Hope also arises from ongoing open dialogue. More and more Europeans are realizing that Islam is not a threat, but rather a source of peace, morality, and inner peace. The future of Islam in Europe is one full of challenges, yet also full of light. With faith, knowledge, and brotherhood, Muslims will be a beautiful part of this continent's journey. From east to west, Islam will continue to grow as a blessing to the universe. Islam's journey in Europe is a long one, full of challenges, filled with hope. From the history of Andalusia, waves of immigrants, to the birth of a new generation confident in their faith. All of this demonstrates one thing: the light of Islam will never be extinguished. Islam is now expected to become the second largest religion in Europe after Christianity. This phenomenon is not only due to the natural growth of the Muslim population, but is also driven by the growing number of people choosing to embrace Islam. Each year, around 20,000 to 25,000 people in Europe convert to Islam. Interestingly, most of them come from secular Christian backgrounds. They find in Islam what they have always sought: inner peace, discipline, and answers to fundamental questions about the meaning of life. This phenomenon demonstrates that Islam is not merely a minority presence, but has developed into a vital part of Europe's new face. With the growing number of converts, Islam is not only surviving, but also growing and taking root in a pluralistic society. This development is further strengthened by the increasing access to information about Islam in the digital age. Many Europeans, initially merely curious, eventually fall in love after reading the Quran, learning about the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, or even observing the noble morals of their Muslim companions. Many also testify that before converting to Islam, they felt their lives were directionless. The culture of secularism in Europe often distances people from spiritual values. Islam then emerged, offering a balance between this world and the afterlife, between reason and the heart, and between freedom and responsibility. Furthermore, the growth of the Muslim community in Europe is also evident in the increasing number of mosques and Islamic study centers. Ramadan in major European cities is no longer a lonely experience, but rather bustling with worship activities, communal fast-breaking gatherings, and preaching activities that touch the hearts of many. With the influx of converts to Islam increasing every year, observers predict that Europe's religious landscape will become increasingly vibrant in the future. Islam is not only the largest minority religion, but also one of the spiritual foundations shaping a new civilization on the continent. This wave of conversions is certainly not without challenges. Many converts in Europe face pressure from family, society, and even social stigma. However, these trials actually strengthen their faith. They learn that Islam is not just about inner conviction, but also about the courage to uphold life's principles. Furthermore, the Muslim community in Europe is becoming increasingly solid in embracing converts. Many dawah institutions, social organizations, and even small communities are helping them adapt to their new lives as Muslims. This is where inspiring stories of steadfast faith emerge, ultimately attracting more Europeans to learn more about Islam. In several countries such as France, Germany, England, and the Netherlands, the number of converts to Islam has increased significantly. Most of them are young people searching for their identity. They see Islam as a simple and secure way of life, a far cry from the spiritual emptiness they often felt before. This phenomenon indicates that the future of Islam in Europe will be increasingly strong. Islam is not simply a minority identity, but a moral and spiritual force that plays a crucial role in shaping the future direction of European civilization. This phenomenon is clearly visible in several major European countries. In England, for example, thousands of people convert to Islam every year. Many of them are young women, including a number of prominent and influential public figures. They discover Islamic values they lacked in the past. In France, the number of converts is even greater. An estimated 70,000 to 100,000 people have chosen Islam as their path. Most are young women, and more strikingly, their decisions are driven not by marriage, but by a sincere personal search. They explore Islam independently, read literature, attend religious studies, and ultimately become convinced that Islam is the truth. Meanwhile, in Germany, the Netherlands, Sweden, and other Scandinavian countries, the increase in the number of converts is also increasingly evident. The wave of conversions to Islam is no longer a small phenomenon, but rather a major influx that reflects the spiritual needs of modern European society. All of this demonstrates that Islam is now growing not only through heredity, but also through a new awareness born of humanity's search for the meaning of life. Europe, once known as a bastion of secularism, is slowly beginning to witness an Islamic spiritual renaissance that cannot be ignored. Furthermore, the inspiring stories of these converts often serve as a source of motivation for others. A young man who once lived in addiction and confusion finds peace after embracing Islam. A woman who felt empty despite living amidst luxury finally finds meaning in life through prayer and worship. Stories like these are spreading widely on social media, inspiring thousands of others to learn more about Islam. Given this rapid growth, observers believe that Islam will continue to grow in Europe. In fact, in the coming decades, Islam is predicted to not only become the second largest religion, but also play a significant role in shaping the moral and spiritual direction of the continent. One important factor accelerating the growth of Islam in Europe is access to information in the internet era. Now, anyone can easily read the Quran in various translated languages, watch lectures by Islamic scholars, participate in interfaith discussions, and even hear firsthand testimonies from converts from around the world. Many people, initially simply curious, begin to delve deeper. Interestingly, most of them undertake this search independently, without any encouragement. They read, watch, reflect, and then discover the truth they have been searching for. This phenomenon has made Islam more open and accessible to modern European society. The internet, initially perceived as a challenge to religion, has instead become an effective means of spreading the light of Islam. Through social media, videos, and discussion forums, Islam's message of peace, monotheism, and justice can now reach millions of people in a matter of seconds. It's no wonder that the number of converts continues to grow year after year. More and more people are realizing that Islam is not a foreign religion, but rather one that addresses the inner concerns of modern humans with simplicity, clarity, and logic. The presence of converts has had a very positive impact on the Muslim community in Europe. They not only increase the number of followers, but also bring new energy to their dawah, Islamic outreach. With their backgrounds, life experiences, and understanding of Western culture, converts are able to bridge the dialogue between Islam and the wider community. Many converts then become active in preaching, writing books, creating digital dawah content, and even establishing communities to strengthen each other. Their presence often serves as a bridge for non-Muslims who want to learn more about Islam, as they can convey Islamic teachings in language that is easily understood and relevant to the local context. Furthermore, converts to Islam have improved the image of Islam in the eyes of the European public. They are living proof that Islam was not imposed through heredity or social pressure, but rather a conscious choice by people who previously lived in cultures far removed from religion. This has led to a growing appreciation of Islam as a rational, open, and meaningful religion. Solidarity among Muslims has also strengthened. Mosques, educational institutions, and Islamic communities now pay special attention to converts, ensuring they feel accepted and guided. This has resulted in the emergence of a new generation of European Muslims who are more confident, more open, and ready to contribute to the wider community. Many Europeans find in Islam a path that offers clarity, discipline, and a profound purpose that aligns with contemporary social challenges. Interfaith marriages also play a significant role in encouraging conversions. Relationships between Muslims and non-Muslims often lead to one partner converting to Islam, contributing to the increase in the number of converts. These marriages facilitate cultural exchange and create a supportive environment for new Muslims, blending diverse traditions and values. Community support is another crucial factor. New Muslims often join welcoming Muslim communities that provide social networks, educational resources, and spiritual guidance. This sense of belonging and shared identity strengthens converts' commitment and encourages others to deepen their understanding of Islam. Furthermore, the influence of digital media cannot be overstated. The rapid growth in the number of converts in Europe is closely linked to the active role of convert communities in Dawah organizations. These groups serve as a vital support system, providing education, social integration, and spiritual guidance for individuals embracing Islam, helping them maintain and nurture their faith journey. These organizations employ a variety of strategies to reach European seekers and new Muslims. These include public lectures, workshops, interfaith dialogue, and digital outreach through websites, social media, and online courses. By making Islamic knowledge accessible and engaging, they address common questions and misconceptions and foster a welcoming environment for those curious about Islam. Convert communities often establish dedicated support groups that offer mentoring, language classes, counseling, and social events tailored to the needs of new Muslims. These networks facilitate a sense of belonging and help converts navigate cultural adjustments, particularly in predominantly non-Muslim communities. Many organizations, such as the leading Muslim Council of Britain, the European Muslim Youth Network, and local mosque committees, prioritize programs for converts that recognize their unique challenges. They collaborate with academics, psychologists, and social workers to provide holistic support. Digital platforms also play an increasingly important role in connecting converts with global Islamic scholarship and peer communities, reducing isolation and encouraging continuous learning. In the digital age, social media and its empowered platforms have become powerful catalysts for the rapid growth of converts across Europe. Platforms like YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook offer easily accessible spaces for seekers to explore Islamic teachings, connect with communities, and engage with trusted voices. Muslim influencers and content creators play a crucial role in this digital transformation through personal stories, educational content, and spiritual reflections. These influencers make Islam relevant and approachable, especially to a young audience that readily absorbs a wealth of information. Channels dedicated to dawah and religious education provide interactive lessons, Q&A sessions, and live discussions that break down complex theological concepts into easily digestible content. This democratization of knowledge empowers individuals to learn privately and at their own pace, thus reducing barriers to conversion. Furthermore, digital platforms facilitate global connectivity, connecting new Muslims in Europe with scholars and communities around the world. This network combats isolation and fosters a sense of belonging that transcends geographical boundaries. The rise of digital dawah, Islamic outreach, also enables the rapid dissemination of accurate Islamic knowledge, countering misinformation and stereotypes prevalent in mainstream media. This contributes to a more informed and open-minded audience considering conversion. The growing wave of conversions to Islam in Europe is heavily influenced by the values and perspectives of the younger generation. Today's young people live in a complex world marked by rapid social change, globalization, and increasing secularism, prompting many to seek new forms of identity, purpose, and community. Young Europeans are often drawn to Islam's emphasis on discipline, social justice, and spiritual depth, which contrasts with the materialism and moral ambiguity perceived in modern society. For many, conversion represents a conscious choice to adopt a comprehensive lifestyle aligned with their evolving values. Social media and digital connectivity reinforce this trend, providing young people with direct access to Islamic teachings, peer support, and inspiring role models. This digital engagement fosters a personalized and accessible spiritual journey, breaking down traditional boundaries and enabling exploration beyond family or societal expectations. Furthermore, interfaith relationships and multicultural interactions introduce young people to Islam in diverse and meaningful ways, often sparking curiosity and eventual conversion. This generational shift reflects a broader openness to religious diversity and a redefinition of identity beyond ethnic or cultural boundaries. Youth-led activism within Muslim communities also contributes to this appeal, as young converts engage in social activities, community building, and interfaith dialogue, embodying Islam's relevance in contemporary society. Behind the growing number of converts in Europe are deeply personal and inspiring stories that reveal the transformative power of faith. Real-life journeys spanning countries such as the UK, France, Germany, and Sweden highlight the diverse paths individuals take to Islam. Take Emma from the UK, who discovered Islam through her search for spiritual clarity after years of feeling disconnected in the secular world. Her journey involved in-depth study, community support, and a new sense of purpose that profoundly transformed her life. In France, Ahmed's story illustrates the role of interfaith marriage. Raised as a Christian, he converted to Islam after marrying a Muslim woman, discovering a faith aligned with the values of justice and compassion. In Germany, Sophia's conversion was sparked by encounters with Muslim friends and a growing interest in Islamic philosophy. She credits an online Islamic education platform and a local DA group for guiding her through this life-changing decision. Meanwhile, in Sweden, Lars's experience reflects the intersection of cultural identity and faith. As a young man living in a secular society, he converted to Islam, seeking acceptance and moral grounding, supported by an inclusive Muslim community in Sweden. These stories are united by common themes: the search for meaning, the influence of community, and the adoption of a comprehensive lifestyle. They reflect the diverse motivations behind conversion and the profound impact Islam has had on individual lives. By sharing such inspiring stories, we gain a deeper understanding of the humanity of Europe's growing Muslim population, reminding us that behind every statistic lies a remarkable personal journey. Converts to Islam in Europe often face complex cultural and social challenges, which impact their faith journey and their daily lives. Although the number of people converting to Islam is increasing, many face discrimination and stereotypes that can create significant barriers to acceptance and integration. Discrimination manifests in various forms, from workplace bias to social exclusion, and often stems from misunderstandings about Islam and the Muslim community. Converts may experience prejudice not only from the wider community, but sometimes also within their own families and social circles, leading to feelings of isolation and emotional distress. Stereotypes about Muslims and Islam, fueled by media portrayals and political rhetoric, lead to misunderstandings and fear. New converts often face questions and doubts about their sincerity, loyalty, and identity, which can test their self-confidence and social cohesion. Adaptation is a crucial process for new Muslims in Europe. They must balance their spiritual commitment with cultural norms and societal expectations, often learning to navigate new religious practices in environments that may be indifferent or hostile. Support from the Muslim community, interfaith dialogue, and educational programs play a crucial role in easing this transition. Furthermore, mental health challenges can arise from these social pressures, making access to culturally sensitive counseling and peer support vital to the well-being of converts. Female converts in Europe are playing an increasingly important role in shaping social change within Muslim communities and the wider society. Their journeys not only reflect personal transformation, but also contribute to leadership, advocacy, and community building that influence social dynamics across the continent. Women who convert to Islam are often active participants in religious education, community outreach, and interfaith dialogue. Many take on leadership roles in mosques, Islamic organizations, and charitable initiatives, challenging traditional gender norms and promoting inclusive interpretations of the faith. The influence of female converts extends beyond religious venues. They engage in social activism, addressing issues such as women's rights, social justice, and cultural integration, bridging the gap between Muslim and non-Muslim communities. These women serve as role models of empowerment, combining their faith with modern values of equality and education. Their visibility in media and digital platforms reinforces positive narratives about Islam and challenges stereotypes. Furthermore, female converts often provide unique perspectives on the challenges faced by Muslim women, advocating for support systems that promote mental health, education, and social inclusion. Government policies across Europe significantly influence the experiences of converts, shaping their integration and the exercise of religious freedom. These policies vary widely across countries, but collectively impact how converts navigate their new faith in secular and multicultural societies. Many European governments promote integration frameworks aimed at fostering social cohesion while respecting religious diversity. These policies often include support for religious education, anti-discrimination laws, and funding for community programs that benefit convert communities by providing access to resources and legal protections. However, challenges arise in balancing secularism, particularly in countries like France, with religious freedom. Strict regulations regarding religious symbols and practices can create barriers for converts to openly express their beliefs, leading to tensions and debates about identity and rights. In contrast, countries like the United Kingdom and the Netherlands offer relatively inclusive environments where converts benefit from supportive integration measures and greater freedom to practice Islam publicly. Immigration and security policies also impact convert communities, particularly in contexts where Islam is politicized. Converts may face increased scrutiny or social suspicion, underscoring the need for fair and thoughtful policies that protect religious minorities. Importantly, government collaboration with Muslim organizations, including those focused on supporting converts, enhances dialogue and policy effectiveness. Such partnerships foster mutual understanding and help address the specific needs of converts, including education, counseling, and social services. As Europe continues to experience significant social, cultural, and demographic changes, the growth in the number of converts is expected to remain a prominent trend shaping the continent's religious landscape. Recent data and expert analysis project that the number of individuals converting to Islam will continue to rise in the coming decades. Several factors contribute to this optimistic outlook. The ongoing spiritual quest among Europeans, especially younger generations, demonstrates a continued interest in Islamic teachings on community, ethics, and spirituality. Increased interfaith interaction and multicultural integration also create fertile ground for religious conversion. Digital technology and social media will continue to accelerate this growth by providing accessible Islamic education and connecting seekers with supportive communities around the world. This democratization of religious knowledge is breaking down traditional barriers and encouraging more open exploration of faith. Furthermore, as European societies become more diverse and inclusive, government policies are likely to evolve, potentially enhancing protections for religious freedom and supporting integration efforts for converts. However, challenges such as social discrimination, political polarization, and misinformation about Islam can impact conversion dynamics and require community resilience and ongoing public education. The growth in the number of converts in Europe is a profound reflection of the continent's spiritual and cultural development. It highlights not only the universal human search for meaning and belonging, but also the dynamic interplay between faith, identity, and society. As Islam continues to spread through sincere personal journeys and supportive communities, it offers powerful messages of peace, compassion, and justice that resonate deeply in today's diverse and interconnected world. This expansion invites Europeans to embrace a spirit of openness and understanding and fosters dialogue between different religions and cultures. Such engagement is crucial for building bridges of trust, dispelling misunderstandings and enhancing social cohesion. Muslim role models in everyday life also serve as a door of guidance for many Europeans. Many people admit to being drawn to Islam after witnessing firsthand the morals of a Muslim: honesty in their work, discipline in their time, maintaining their religious obligations despite their busy schedules, and living simply and without excess. Many converts testify that they converted not because of formal preaching or lengthy sermons, but because of the real-life examples they witnessed every day. For example, a co-worker who paused to pray despite their busy schedule, a friendly and helpful Muslim neighbor, or a schoolmate who upheld his principles without harming others. These simple examples have proven to open the hearts of many. They see that Islam is not just theory or ritual, but a true way of life that shapes character and morals. From there, admiration grows, then a desire to learn more, until they ultimately discover the truth of Islam. This phenomenon also demonstrates that every Muslim in Europe, even without realizing it, can become an ambassador of Islam simply by displaying noble morals in their daily lives. This is the most powerful form of preaching, one that touches hearts more deeply than words. This phenomenon further confirms that Islam is not a forced religion, but rather a religion that captivates hearts through tangible evidence in life. A European initially skeptical of religion can be won over simply by observing a Muslim's honesty in business or a friend's steadfastness in maintaining prayer, despite being in an unsupportive environment. Often, converts to Islam say that their experience of observing Muslim morals is far more powerful than thousands of intellectual arguments. This is where the realization emerges that Islam is not just a religion read about in holy books, but also a religion practiced in real life. This provides a valuable lesson for Muslims in Europe and around the world, that every act, no matter how small, can be a path to guidance for others. A sincere smile, honesty in work, concern for one's neighbors, and even patience in facing life's trials, all can reflect the beauty of Islam that moves the human heart. As the number of converts increases, the image of Islam in Europe is also slowly changing. Islam is no longer seen simply as a religion of immigrants, but rather as a religion that has grown from within European society itself. The emergence of this wave of converts from various backgrounds has given birth to a new generation of Muslims in Europe. They are not only the descendants of immigrants, but also native Europeans who have chosen Islam as their way of life. This generation is slowly forming a new identity: European Islam. This new generation of Muslims appears more confident. They grew up with two strengths: strong Islamic spiritual roots and an ingrained understanding of European culture. This combination empowers them to play an active role in society, whether in education, business, the arts, or politics. In several countries, young Muslims have become academics, social activists, journalists, and even members of parliament. Their Islamic identity is no longer seen as a barrier, but rather as a new color that enriches the face of modern Europe. This phenomenon indicates that Islam in Europe is not only increasing in number, but also in increasing quality in its contributions. With a spirit of peaceful dawah and good role models, this generation of Muslims has the potential to become an important bridge between the Islamic world and the West. If this trend continues, in the coming decades, Islam will become an integral part of European identity. Islam will no longer be seen as a foreign religion, but as one of the spiritual and moral foundations shaping the continent's future. This development is also changing how Europeans view Islam. While Islam was once often perceived negatively through mainstream media, now more and more people are witnessing the true face of Islam through their Muslim neighbors, co-workers, or schoolmates. Gradually, old stereotypes are beginning to erode. People are seeing that Muslims can live side by side, contribute, and even provide tangible benefits to their surroundings. This is further strengthened by the presence of converts to Islam who understand how to communicate with Europeans more closely and effectively. Even in the social sphere, Muslims are becoming active in humanitarian activities, helping the poor, and participating in interfaith solidarity campaigns. All of this increasingly demonstrates that Islam brings blessings, not threats. Over time, Islam in Europe is increasingly seen not as an immigrant religion, but as part of the larger European community itself. This phenomenon not only strengthens Muslim communities, but also paves the way for building stronger bridges between the Islamic world and the West. Islam offers that balance, teaching how humans can achieve success in this world without forgetting the afterlife, how knowledge blends with morality, and how freedom is accompanied by responsibility. These values have led many Europeans to feel that Islam provides the answers they have been searching for. Furthermore, the growing Muslim community is enriching European culture. The traditions of Ramadan, Eid al-Fitr, and even Islamic studies are now part of social life in many major cities. Halal food festivals, mosque social activities, and interfaith dialogue spaces add new color to community life. All this demonstrates that the growth of Islam in Europe is not just a statistic, but a real transformation in everyday life. From the family sphere to the workplace to the public sphere, Islam is now increasingly present and recognized. Meanwhile, in politics, Muslim involvement is also becoming more visible. Several European countries already have Muslim members of parliament, mayors, and even high-ranking officials. Their presence demonstrates that Muslims are not only part of society, but also part of the leadership that shapes the direction of state policy. Furthermore, European Muslims are also active in social and humanitarian movements. They have founded charities, refugee aid organizations, and even communities working on the environment. All of this reflects that Islam encourages its followers to contribute positively to all humanity, regardless of religion or origin. With a combination of a strong Islamic identity and active involvement in society, this generation of European Muslims is expected to be a significant force in shaping the new face of European civilization. They bring hope for the birth of a more just, balanced society, and one founded on solid spiritual values. Although Europe has a long history of religious differences, more and more people are now learning to live side by side. Various religious events often demonstrate the mutual respect and love of people of different faiths. Islamic holidays are also eagerly awaited. During Ramadan, mosques in cities large and small are bustling with iftar, breaking the fast gatherings, Taraweeh, prayers, and religious studies. Not only Muslims, but also non-Muslim neighbors are often invited to join in the iftar and enjoy the family atmosphere. From these simple moments, strong social bonds are born. When Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha arrive, the atmosphere is colorful. Muslims gather in fields or mosques, performing congregational prayers together. Afterward, they visit each other, share food, and spread joy to their neighbors, regardless of religion. Many Europeans say they are impressed by this tradition of friendship, as it brings a warmth often missing in modern life. Scenes like these demonstrate that Islam in Europe is not only about growing numbers, but also about the spirit of brotherhood across religions. Tolerance, mutual respect, and cooperation in good deeds become a new face that demonstrates Islam as a religion that brings peace. In many major European cities, stories of tolerance between Muslims and non-Muslims often color Islamic holidays. For example, during Ramadan, several churches and community centers open their doors to serve as places for Muslims to break their fast together. This is a beautiful symbol of brotherhood, where two communities of different faiths respect and share with each other. In London, for example, there is a tradition of street iftars, where certain streets are temporarily closed for a mass iftar event. Thousands of people, both Muslims and non-Muslims, sit together at long tables, enjoying food distributed free of charge. The atmosphere is warm, without religious barriers. In France and Germany, several cities also hold open mosque day events during Ramadan or around Eid al-Fitr. Mosques open their doors to anyone who wants to visit, engage in dialogue, and learn more about Islam. Many non-Muslim visitors leave deeply impressed, even moved by the hospitality and solidarity of the Muslim community. When Eid al-Adha arrives, the tradition of sharing sacrificial meat also serves as a means of strengthening social ties. Many Muslims share sacrificial meat with their non-Muslim neighbors. This simple act often leaves a lasting positive impression, demonstrating the compassionate and caring nature of Islam. All of this demonstrates that Islam in Europe is growing peacefully, integrating into social life, and strengthening the spirit of interfaith tolerance. Islamic holidays on this continent are not only celebrated by Muslims, but also serve as a momentum to strengthen brotherhood among people. In Paris, Ramadan always brings a distinct atmosphere. The streets of Muslim-majority areas, such as Belleville and Barbès, are filled with the aroma of Middle Eastern and North African cuisine as the breaking of the fast approaches. Restaurants and bakeries are bustling with people buying food for iftar. In the evening, Parisian mosques, including the historic Grand Mosque of Paris, are packed with worshippers performing Taraweeh prayers. It is not uncommon for non-Muslim visitors to also attend, seeking to experience the spiritual atmosphere of Ramadan. In Berlin, Ramadan is a time of unity for various Muslim communities who come from diverse backgrounds, from Turks and Arabs to Bosnians to German converts. Mosques in Kreuzberg and Neukölln hold iftar gatherings open to the public. Local governments even support this by providing public spaces for the community to gather and celebrate Ramadan peacefully. Amsterdam is no less vibrant. In this city, mosques hold special events for children and teenagers to help them experience the togetherness of Ramadan. Furthermore, many Muslim communities invite non-Muslim neighbors to join them for iftar, breaking the fast together, making Ramadan a means of strengthening social bonds. In Stockholm and other Scandinavian cities, even though the Muslim population is not as large as in France or Germany, Ramadan still feels festive. Small mosques are filled with worshippers, and Muslim communities strive to maintain traditions despite the longer fasting period compared to other countries. This atmosphere creates a lasting impression, especially for new Muslims experiencing Ramadan for the first time in a new environment. Celebratory holidays like Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha are equally beautiful. City squares are filled with thousands of worshippers performing Eid prayers together. Afterward, people gather, exchange greetings, share food, and celebrate the victory. This warmth further reinforces Islam's identity in Europe as a religion of peace and love. Interestingly, Islamic holidays in Europe are not only felt by Muslims. Non-Muslims often join in the togetherness. Many Europeans express admiration for the atmosphere of Ramadan, where people endure hunger and thirst all day, then break their fast with gratitude. They often sit together at community iftar gatherings, enjoying traditional foods and feeling the warmth of brotherhood. In some cities, local governments even provide tangible support. For example, they decorate certain streets during Ramadan with lights or provide public spaces for Eid al-Fitr prayers. This demonstrates their appreciation for Muslims as an important part of society. Many schools also provide opportunities for Muslim students to celebrate Eid al-Fitr with their families. Even non-Muslim teachers and friends often wish them a happy Eid, a sign that Islamic traditions are beginning to be widely accepted. During Eid al-Adha, some non-Muslim neighbors also enjoy the sacrificial meat distributed. For them, this is not just receiving food, but a valuable experience experiencing Islamic traditions firsthand. Many develop a deeper respect for Islamic teachings after witnessing the caring and sharing spirit of Muslims. All of this demonstrates that Islam in Europe has found its path to harmony. It is not only growing in numbers, but also accepted and respected by communities of different faiths. The tolerance and love reflected in Islamic holidays serve as a strong bridge for creating a peaceful life on the European continent. Dear friends of the Islamic faith, in addition to reading, daily examples, and social experiences, many Europeans also find guidance through memorable personal events. One such example is in the world of sports, particularly football, which is so popular on this continent. Several top European football players, who were not originally Muslim, eventually embraced Islam after seeing the good examples of their religious teammates. They witnessed how Muslims remained disciplined in their prayers amidst busy schedules, remained humble despite their star status, and avoided the excessive lifestyles often associated with the world of sports celebrities. Stories like these are a great inspiration. Fans who see their idols convert to Islam are often curious and learn more about the teachings that transform the lives of famous athletes. In fact, several converts to Islam in Europe admit that they first became interested in Islam after following the spiritual journey of their favorite football figures. This phenomenon demonstrates that guidance can come from anywhere, whether from a book, a simple encounter, or even witnessing the exemplary life of a public figure. And in the European context, football has become one of the biggest gateways for Islam to become widely known. In Europe, a number of public figures and famous figures have chosen Islam as their path. This decision often surprises many, but also inspires millions of fans. In the world of football, several big names have stunned the public after announcing their conversion to Islam. They found peace in prayer, discipline in Islamic teachings, and spiritual strength they had never experienced before. Their stories then spread widely, not only in sports media, but also in the general public, further enhancing Islam's positive recognition. In addition to athletes, there are also figures from the worlds of art, music, and academia who have embraced Islam. They come from diverse backgrounds. Some were previously atheists, some were Christians, and some were even completely secular. But one thing in common, they all claimed to have found answers in Islam. Some stated that Islam gave them a clear direction in life, while others said that the beauty of the Quran touched them. Many also expressed awe at the brotherhood of Muslims, especially during Ramadan and Eid al-Fitr, where they felt a sense of togetherness rarely found in modern society. The stories of these figures not only had a profound influence on their immediate circle, but also became a gateway to guidance for thousands of others. With their backgrounds as public figures, the message of Islam reached a wider audience that might not have previously been willing to listen to direct preaching. The phenomenon of Europeans converting to Islam demonstrates that the rise of Islam on this continent is coming from various directions, not just from a select group. At the general public level, thousands of people each year find guidance through personal search, social interactions, or simply observing the exemplary behavior of Muslims in their daily lives. In academia, many intellectuals, after conducting in-depth studies, are increasingly convinced that Islam is a religion that aligns with reason, history, and truth. Meanwhile, among public figures, from athletes and artists to media personalities, Islam is becoming increasingly well known through their spiritual journeys. Their presence as converts has had a significant impact because they have touched the hearts of people who may have previously been distant from religion. The combination of all these factors has made the development of Islam in Europe not merely a temporary phenomenon, but a spiritual movement that is becoming increasingly deep-rooted. Islam is now seen not merely as a minority religion, but as part of a new face of Europe, filled with diversity, tolerance, and peaceful coexistence between religious communities. Seeing these developments, it is clear that the future of Islam in Europe is increasingly bright. Year after year, the number of converts continues to grow, mosques become more crowded, and Islamic teachings are increasingly recognized for their peaceful and exemplary approach. Although Islam remains a minority religion, its presence is no longer seen as foreign. Instead, Islam is beginning to become an integral part of the identity of modern European society. The presence of Muslims living in harmony, contributing in various fields, and demonstrating good morals is clear evidence that Islam can thrive anywhere, including in the heart of Western civilization. With a steady stream of converts from the general public, academics, and public figures, Islam is expected to continue to grow rapidly. Not only is it the second largest religion after Christianity, but it is also a spiritual force that brings values of peace, brotherhood, and hope for the future of Europe. Friends of the Islamic faith who are blessed by Allah, I hope this video is useful and see you in our next video.